First of all, let's get something straight. I'm not saying just because you ride a motorcycle makes you a good driver. And I'm not saying if you're a driver and don't ride a bike that you're a bad driver. But in general, I do believe that riding a motorcycle makes you a better driver. First reason I think that is because motor skills. I mean, to ride a motorcycle, it's all about your left foot working the shifter, your right foot working the brake, your left hand working the clutch, your right hand working the throttle and the front brake. You're leaning your body left and right, forward, backward. The brain has been trained so precisely to what your feet and your hands are doing. It's a constant, you know, activity riding a motorcycle. When you're in a car, you get lazy, you know. A lot of people only are using one foot. And it's so lazy and boring that everybody's driving around texting, and that should kind of tell you something right there. Another thing is, on a motorcycle, we are on the constant lookout for everything around us because we're basically invisible out here. At least you drivers make us see. I don't know. What are you doing? Oh my God. We're not really invisible, but because you guys aren't paying attention, we are invisible. How many of us watch Moto Madness? It's so frustrating to see how many guys on bikes are almost taken out by drivers that aren't paying attention, and then they say, well, I didn't see you. It's like, well, you're not looking sufficiently, you know? It's like the worst excuse ever. That's why I love having a really loud bike right now, because if they can't see me, they can hear me. The reason drivers aren't seeing us is because they're not using their mirrors enough. Like when I drive, I've always checked my mirrors like constantly. I always know what's going on behind me, what's going on around me. People in cars aren't using their mirrors. Like, I don't know, how often do you, if you drive, how often do you look in your mirrors? Think about how long it takes for a motorcycle to be out of sight and then suddenly be in sight. Not very long, you know, a matter of seconds. You're checking your mirrors every 30 seconds or whatever, yeah, you're not going to know what's going on around you, and next thing you know, there's a motorcycle right there, and well, I didn't see you. I've never been back here before. Okay, see that big old thing right there, and that one over there? Those are blimp hangers for the Goodyear blimps. I don't know if they're still using them for that, but that's what they were initially built for. And a buddy of mine, he was going to try to build an indoor motocross track at one of those, and just ended up being too difficult. And then they build all these apartments here. It's like, ugh. It just seems like a clash. So essentially what I'm saying is, to ride a motorcycle, you just become more alert to everything going on around you. You don't have time to get lazy and not pay attention. And that carries over into your driving. I've been riding like my whole life, and a buddy of mine, he's like, dude, you are like the best driver I've ever ridden with. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool, thanks. You know, it's just kind of natural. I don't want you guys that drive to think I'm bagging on you. I'm not bagging on you, unless you're a bad driver and not paying attention. There's great drivers out there that don't ride motorcycles. And there's guys on motorcycles that don't drive good and don't ride good. One of my biggest enemies on the road is other motorcyclists, because I do a lot of lane splitting. Let's go over here. That probably wasn't the best move, but I'm gonna go check this out. When I'm lane splitting, I can't tell you how many times guys on bikes jump into the lane splitting lane without even looking and almost take me out. And I've actually seen a sport bike and a cop come together and crash doing the lane splitting thing. Okay, check that out. I've never been this close to these before. That's freaking huge, man. The GoPro makes it look smaller and further away, but wow, that's like super impressive, man. But it feels huge inside. You could definitely build a motocross track inside of there. And here's more apartments right here. Nice view, huh? There's a lot of bad motorcycle riders out there. And they'll get better, you know, give them time. But, you know, you got to use your head, too. Jumping into the lane splitting lane without even looking for other bikes is not an experience thing. It's just using your brain. It's pretty simple logic. I also think motorcycle guys are more in tune with driving because we're more into motorized things. I mean, when I was a kid, I was riding mini bikes when I was super small, and go-karts. Go-karts, think about that, directly related to driving a vehicle. So I can slide a car. I could probably get in a drifting car and do pretty good because I know how to control the slide. And if things get, you know, to react quickly to, you know, things going on in front of me on the road. Don't forget, I'm a rider, but I drive too. So also when I was a kid, before I had my license, I would drive my parents' car in dirt fields. My dad would take me out to a field and let me drive around. He drove an 18-wheeler for a living, and I was little dude. I would sit on his lap, and I would steer that big old truck for miles, you know. So I got really good at steering a vehicle. And then when I turned 18, he let me drive his 18-wheeler all by myself. And I was just a little shit, dude. I was like this little 130-pound kid driving an 18-wheeler. It was freaking people out. Sorry if this video is just another, yeah, me talking again video, but this is a midweek video. I'm on my lunch hour at work. I don't have time to put a lot into this video. I do look cool. It's all dressed up. This is just an idea I had. All I really have time to do during the week is jump on my bike and ride around and talk. I can't put a lot of extra into it, so I actually had a guy comment on one of my videos lately. He's like, this guy sure does talk a lot. It's like, well, yeah, it's a moto vlog. It's, you know, some of the vlogs are talking about certain topics as we ride around. That's what we do. If you don't like it, go listen to Philip DeFranco. He doesn't talk much. Anyhow, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of angry drivers commenting on this video. It always seems to be that whole us versus them, but, you know, we're drivers too, so we are part of them, you know. Anyways, kind of curious about your guys' opinion on this topic. Do you think you're a better driver because you've been riding for a period of time? Anyways, if you like this video, check out some of my other videos. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys next video.